I've had some weird things happen to me in my life, and after moving out of a house where there was an incident involving black magic, we got the government quarters in a society that was exclusively for the families of individuals working in the forest department. It was a cheerful place unlike the last, and there were many kids around my age. My school was close, and it was a well-knit neighborhood with friendly people. So much so that I was able to trespass into anyone's house and they wouldn't mind. It was still one of the best places I had lived in, because more than anything, it was adventurous. There were tall ashoka trees all around, many kucha houses, and an aura that was hard to beat. This place had an old world charm. The only unconventional part about the place was my house. It was of older times, probably built around British Indian era, and had a unique architectural style. The front hall had a flat roof, while the middle portion was raised in a dome, and at the very end near the washroom and beyond there was no roof. The first time we entered, there were many bizarre wall paintings in the middle portion that we didn't comprehend at all. There were two doors for the entry of the house, the front one and the one at the very back that opened in front of a fence, and behind that was a forest. There was a blackened dead tree across that had been the victim of lightning. We had a beautiful garden that was adjacent to the house with lemon and custard apple trees at the end of it. It was our storehouse, and we didn't know who lived there before. The caretaker didn't tell us much, other than the person moved somewhere else. Still, we didn't want to take any risks and had a holy ritual performed on the property before we lived there. It was an interesting place. I made new friends, and we used to play in the society compound all day long after school. The forest office was in the society itself near the main gate. The place was surrounded with rocky terrains and forest. As kids, we explored a lot, and I often saw soldiers from afar marching around behind the terrains. There was another forest office in the compound, which was old and closed forever. It was locked, and the old office almost in front of my house, at a diagonal distance, was built on an elevated stage. It had high walls and a rotting structure. It was a home to many mossy outgrowths, and it had no roof either. By the side of it was a burnt house that had been abandoned. Nobody went there. It was instructed by the temple priest and his wife, as there was a black dog that lived there that had gone mad. We used to obey that, as it was near the forest, so poisonous snakes and monkeys were a daily sight, and we'd gotten used to it. The monkeys came every evening at 5 o'clock, and I had some really funny incidents with them. One day we were playing cricket near the old office, when an older boy played an aerial shoot to the building. There was no roof, so the ball went in, and I was sent to retrieve it. I climbed on the edges of bricks that were jutting out of the terrain adjoining to the office, and entered from above. It was a very creepy place, with a deadening black smell all around. I found some bones lying in the trash, probably left by dogs. I came out, went about my business, but there was something off. The next day in the morning, my mum came to us as we were talking about some news. She had a dream last night, where she saw a lot of buried treasure in our house. It was in the back wall of our storehouse, and also there was some voice that guarded it. She saw someone digging there in the dream, a faceless man. We all went into the garden and opened the storehouse, and the wall at the back was put up again. Someone did try to break it down. It wasn't painted and was mere bricks and cement, albeit thicker than the other ones. My mum didn't proceed further. She said that she heard the voice in her dream saying that to acquire the gold, one had to sacrifice their children, and it couldn't be escaped or bargained with, and she wasn't willing to take such a chance. We went inside in a few minutes and heard someone at the door. It was our neighbor that lived far in front near the main gate adjacent to the new office. He had walked all the way down to our place, and it was early in the morning. It was a bit surprising because we didn't have much interaction with him. He had a confused expression, and he saw my mum and aunt and said, "You'll find this funny, but I had a dream about your house." He told us the exact same dream that my mum said, and even the same location. It was very strange. While we were all talking, we saw another girl walk towards us. She lived near the terrain, and to our surprise, even she had the same dream. Everyone wanted us to investigate now, but Mum was in no mood. One thing that she wanted to do was know about the place. The caretaker was questioned, and he revealed that the person who lived there was of Anglo-Indian descent. He lived here some 22 years back and was a treasure explorer. He knew of the treasure in this place and tried to search for it. It was said that he sacrificed his own son to get the wealth, but wasn't able to bear the guilt and went crazy and disappeared. The broken wall was put up by someone at night the day he disappeared. No one saw who did it. The man had murdered his son right in front of our washroom in the last section that opened near the forest. It gave me shudders, because there were frequent power cuts in those days at night, and I used to take long showers at midnight. The idea of something lurking and guarding the walls and adjacent treasure were enough to give me chills. We mutually decided to do nothing about it, and left town later that year.